Yo, 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 it's Thursday night. We're back with the last show of the year. This is Reverse Polarity. I'm High Five Vega, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who slings more wire and zip ties than most. His name's Dean Bayette. He works at a small shop and well, you do kind of work at a small shop and run a pretty decent sized YouTube channel. 5-star car
if you're looking at car audio as a whole, sure, but I mean,
right.
As in the internet as a whole, it's not even a pimple.
Well, see, that's the thing. The biggest YouTuber in car audio, there's kids that are 5 years old that play with toys that had that many subscribers in a month.
Yeah.
So it's like we're niche.
Yes. It sucks. That's so stupid. Yeah.
We definitely picked the wrong thing to like. If you wanted to be like successful YouTuber, definitely picked like the wrong category, probably.
Oh, for sure. It's funny too because this week I was listening to On Point. I think On Point. One of the Chick Megger Chucker Barty. I don't know, really hard name to pronounce. And they were talking about AI, and specifically video AI. And they had this college professor on. He was talking about it, and she interviews him like seems like 6 months because some new thing from the people that make chat Soren 2 or I don't know what the hell it's called.
Yeah.
And I was listening to him talk and I'm like, okay, so what does this mean for a content creator? Because like you can essentially ask chat to build any type of video you want.
Right.
Graham, we're not in that business. Like we're not trying to entertain you. Like I'm not trying to be like stormtroopers running through the forest, like that type of shit.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But is that the future of DIY videos where you just like type in some crap and I don't think so, but I mean
listen, a lot of DIY stuff, you can type into ChatGPT and they will give you some. I'm not going to say they're always the right answers, but they seem to point you in a decent direction from what I've used it anyway. So
that's the funny one. Like, I think we talked about it last week when somebody bought a whole system using chat. And it was like, why did you buy all this stuff? Well, chat told me to, and it was like, well, chat sucks.
Yeah.
Like chat's missing things because there again, it's not an artificial intelligence. That's the joke in it all, right? It's just following a set of rules really, really fast with an unlimited amount of information.
Yeah.
So there is no artificial intelligence. It's just doing what it's programmed to do. And it's funny.
It's based off the information that it can scrape from the internet.
But it scraped everything. The internet is scraped. Like the internet is just a 10-speed bike being dragged behind a bus with somebody going, stop!
Well, and that the thing that we've said on the show many times is a lot of people are just checking boxes based off of what someone said on Dyma or someone said on Facebook or a thread, which we know is very imperfect information.
Oh,
a lot of
dangerous.
Times.
It's so dangerous.
So it seems, get this. If you could probably ask ChatGPT, what's the best 6.5 speaker, and they'll give you an answer.
Yeah, I mean, they'll tell you what the best DSP is. They'll tell you we've done all this. Like we've literally done all this because it's like 5 seconds of fun. And then you sit there and you go, I see how they figured that out. Because it's like Helix. You type it, Helix will come up, and it's like, well, yeah, of course it will, because they get a ton of press. Right. They're really good at press. And when the internet is looking at is anytime there's a press and someone says, I love mine.
Yeah.
It has nothing else to base it on. It's not in the real world. It has no experience. It just can look at the data that's available to it. And if your brand is, the most flagged in the bunch and has positive comments, well, that's what they're going to say because they don't know.
Yeah. SEO is king.
You might as well walk into the kitchen in the back where the guy's, making French fries at McDonald's and be like, hey, let me ask you, what do you think is the best DSP? And he'll be like, can you give me some choices? It's like, You want this one, or this one? Oh, I like that name. Sounds cool. I'm actually truly considering switching careers for the first time. Started professionally in 1997, and it has always had bad advice, but now it's literally out of hand. Yeah, totally.
Well, I think people speak I think the difference now, and everyone has a voice now, I think is the main difference, but people speak so confidently with incorrect, or they're speaking very confidently with their opinion, not a factual based opinion. It's just their personal opinion, and they're very confident about it. And the one 100%. Thing that we know on YouTube is strong opinions get views, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Indifferent doesn't. Good or bad, strong opinions get more views, usually bad ones. Over.
If you say something sucks, it's like,
yeah.
Well, in the immortal words of Lewis Black, if you think it, it must be true. And if you say it, it must be truer. Okay. So, I mean, I feel like we're living in that era right now of truth is just a perspective.
Right.
It's like, if you look at it like, bingo, you found the spot. That's the best it's ever been. It's amazing. This guy's an idiot. They're all idiots. I'm the best. Smell my farts. See?
Yeah.
I smell their roses. Regardless, I mean, it's everyone's guilty of it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where it's gonna go, but I can tell you that car audio is expensive, and some of the products shouldn't cost that much. They give it. But the reality is they do, and we know why.
Yeah.
We know why.
Right.
Like I have the pleasure of being on the other side of the curtain, and being on the other side of that curtain, because not only am I a retailer and see what it costs as retail, I get to talk to the guys that actually are designing this stuff.
Right.
And they will tell me in confidence, because I've put blood on a piece of paper, what actual cost is.
Right.
And they'll tell me the expenses that are being incurred for certain things throughout time and space, and not just in the current. And what it's costing them now as opposed to what it was costing them then. And all good things and all bad. Like it's always there, right? And plus it's like the cost of doing business. Like, what does it cost to be in this building to turn these lights on now?
That's
because if you say this, if you say this costs a nickel, okay, costs a nickel, right? But when it lands here in the US, it costs $5. For whoever brought it over here, it costs $5. Okay, whatever. That's what it costs. Now that person has to put it into a building, has to put it on a truck, has to ship it somewhere, has to do something with it. Okay, and all of that has costs. So now it's $10. Okay, and so then I buy it, and I have to sell it to you. So now it's $20. Okay. And somewhere in there, it went from 5 cents to $20. And it's perfectly acceptable, because that's what it costs to move this thing to there. Now, when you go, okay, well, what about like Scar Audio, Down for Sound, all these little internet guys? You go, oh, okay, that's cool. So there again, this costs 5 cents. It still is going to cost him to get it here $5. But now he can go, I can sell it for 15. Okay, because he's not going to sell it for 20, because he wants to undercut me. So he wants you to go to him. And so he's still actually going to make more money off of it than I will. And he'll be the good guy.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, but that's the way it works, right?
Right. Well, I have a hot take here. Here's my hot take. And this is all based off of, if you guys
Oh, I love that it says I'm a JL guy, but Ark is knocking on the back door. And of course, when I first looked at it, GUY in JL, I was seeing changed out the U for something else. And I was like, whoa, it's knocking at the back door. Okay. Whoa. Hey, zipper. Okay. Diggity. Yeah.
Oh, man. So this whole topic came from, if you guys aren't listening, it's Car Stereo Talk, the podcast with you and Brian Mitchell. Very funny podcast. It's a great podcast because you guys can really kick off of each other, and you guys have a lot of the same experience, but you also have different experiences. So it's good kicking back and forth, because Brian runs a little bit of a different shop than you do.
A lot different shop.
And it is a lot different.
Yeah.
But this topic came up, and it came from a comment that Dean had said, I think on this show even.
Yeah.
That you can't do anything for $2,500. And to me, I thought you guys explained it very well. So go listen to that. But this kicks off my hot take. My hot take is that equipment itself, speakers, subwoofers, amps, are cheaper than they've ever been for what you're getting, the amount of power you're getting. What I think is expensive is the things around it. Copper wire is labor, lights, the gas at the shop if you live up north, the air conditioner at the shop if you live down south, unless you work in a garage and you just have a fan.
Right. Existing is getting expensive.
Right. Everything around it, like car audio itself, is cheaper than it's ever been. Even if you take look what you can get the new, what's that, the RS8 that the ARC has? It's like $1,000.
PS6 to 8?
No, I'm talking about the 8-channel amp.
Oh, the X2 808.
The X2 808. That's like $1,000 retail. Yeah. And it's like, dude, that is
$1050.
Can you imagine what a piece like that would cost in 1990? Because if you think just the Rockford Fosgate 1000.2 Chrome was going to cost you $2,500 back then, or $2,200 retail.
Well, dude, a 1,000 watt power series amplifier is still $800. I mean, look at what the 13.7 cost.
Right. Yeah.
The LX 13.7.
And that's compared to what the prices were back in the day. That's a lot cheaper now. But imagine what that amp would probably cost you it would cost you the price of what a Moscone Pro runs you.
For that piece. I had to sell a dash kit the other day to a guy, and there was two options. One of them was $800 for a dash kit. Right. Yeah, like Melissa's saying right here. I think you gave Derek that sticker shock with his truck, how much the interface was. It was like $650 or something because he's got the BO because he's got a BO system. So he was like, and it's like, and even those, like the difference between a Nav TV and a iData and the pack piece, there's a huge price difference between them. And it's like trying to explain to somebody like, hey, what's the difference? And it's like, this one fixes your volume control. I didn't know I had a problem. Well, you will when you're done. I've been listening to a mechanics podcast, and they had a great take on why dealerships are more expensive. They have more techs to pay, service writers, salesmen, etc., plus software and subscriptions. I mean, the reality is you're correct. And the building, it's always been the building. Why do you put your money in a bank? Because of the building. Okay, the building was always designed to look safe and secure and impregnable, and I want to put my money in the safest place possible. So I want to put it in a bank. Best Buy and Circuit City for years were always the safe bet because at the end of the day, you buy from them because of the building. The building represents a bigger corporation, and if something goes wrong, they're there for you in your mind. They're really not. They could care less. Right. I'm just saying that about bigger business. They don't care. You're just another dot on a page that you're trying to fill out. But people would literally go and they would come and talk to you, and then they would go and buy it from them, and you'd be like, why did you do that? Well, they have this great credit card. And you're like, we've got that. Oh yeah, but there's like no for 60 days. We got that too. And they're it's Best Buy. And you're like, yeah, okay. I can't argue with that. Believe it or not, we buy it all from the same place. Buy it all from the same place. We have more, and then it's like Best Buy wasn't stupid about it either, because their techs have more training. The Circuit City Best Buy techs, when they had more training than any other techs. Best Buy makes their company spend tons of money, meaning the people they buy shit from spend tons of money training their people. Does that mean anything? No, we all know that now, that you could graduate from high school with a C, and did you learn anything? You learned how to make a C.
Right.
But these were all things that the building would and you would pay extra.
Well, we've talked about it before. It's the difference between someone buying their own equipment and bringing it to you versus buying equipment from you. So you can do it either way, right? Especially if they have the right equipment. But the difference is, if they buy the equipment from you, you install it, something goes wrong with the system later down the road, 6 months down the road, hey, a wire came loose or something happened with the amp. They bring it to you. You can send it off for repair, replace it, whatever, versus they bought it off eBay or Amazon from probably a non-authorized distributor or seller, and they're just screwed. They're not getting anything.
In a lot of shops, which Melissa will attest to, is that it's just not worth the headache. Like, I don't know if it was on this podcast or one that we're talking about, but there's always the story, and it's always happened. It's happened to you. It's happened to another retailer. There's always somebody in the 12-volt world living the mistake of, this was going to be a simple, quick amount of money, and it just went sideways. And you're like,
it's the mechanic's dilemma. Like, it was running fine. You changed the battery. Now I blew a head gasket. It's your fault.
Well, there's that, but I'm just talking about, like, someone brings you some equipment, and it's like, it seems like it's going to be okay, but there's always that one product. There's always that one thing, and that one thing is like, that's going to screw up the whole deal. And it's like, I could have made a quick $500 and paid rent, or I could have taken my kids to Disneyland for the weekend, or I could have kept the air conditioning on, or I could have paid that bill. And what happens is you end up just spending $250 to make whatever it was that this idiot did that you agreed to. And it's not that person's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah. You took the job.
Yeah. You let that guy's poor life choices affect your life. Right. And it's like, and it happens. It happens all the time. And yeah, exactly. Cough, Android radio, cough. And it's, what's up, Bobby? And, we can't, I always tell people, look, I don't want to have that conversation with you. Like, hey, look, it's this, and I don't want to know you that well. I don't want you to be mad at me. I'd much rather have you be mad at me in the beginning and be like, those guys are dicks because they're not going to put my stuff in, and then just walk away. And it didn't cost us anything. Like, you didn't give me any money. I didn't have to deal with you, and I don't have to take the chance, and that's it. And then people, that's like, you're the biggest jerk in the world. It's like, yeah, I'll be the biggest jerk in the world. I'm fine with that. I could sleep at night knowing that I don't have to worry about seeing you ever again, all pissed off at me because your shitty Android radio, or your your dyno amplifier for $200, 4,000 watts. It didn't make it past 6 months, but it put out 4,000 watts, so it's got to be awesome, Or your CCA kit that you thought was copper burned your fuse holder to the ground, or any of that shit. It's just not worth it.
Right.
And like, people get pissed at you, and you're like, get pissed all you want. And Paul hates it, because Paul will make me be the bad guy. He's like, could you talk to them? I'll be like, why? Well, they have their own stuff. Just take a look at it, which is code for, I don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, and I think you explained it good on the podcast. And you kind of, if someone brings you an $80,000 F-150, and they have the B&O system, which is like a $3,500 or $4,000 upgrade for their stereo, and they want to come to you with $2,500, you're doing them a disservice, because even if you put a 4-channel in there and you get it louder, it's gonna sound worse. It'll be louder. I mean, maybe to some people louder is better, but that you are doing them a disservice because you're selling them a worse system that's just not as loud.
Well, you're asking, so you're asking us to do something that we wouldn't normally do. Okay,
right.
and that's the other side of it, right? That's the difference between being an enthusiast, hobbyist, shade tree, weekend warrior, all of that,
Right.
versus a building with employees, insurance, rent to pay, people to feed, livelihoods at stake, potential to be sued, all of that. So there's a divide there, and it's huge. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. And one bad decision as a business owner, we all know, we've seen it. You lose your business,
Yeah.
or your business goes out, or you don't eat that month, or so you try to make choices that make sense for the business and not necessarily for you. It's like, okay, it's like, could I do this? Of course I could do this. Like Fernando and I had this conversation today because this lady brought in this car and it was like, dude, somebody mauled the hell out of this radio install. Her dash was all broken. There was wire nuts and scotch locks, and it was just a mess. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And it was a dual radio. Nothing against dual, but I know that the radio was going to cost less than what it was going to take us to fix this.
Right.
And it was like, why are we doing this? Like, what are we getting out of this? I mean, are we a nonprofit all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like I gotta go in there and I gotta fix her dash. So I gotta sit there and thermal staple her dash back together so I can then cut it so that I can put the dash kit in. And then I have to pray that the dash kit doesn't crack as the dash even more as I'm putting it into the car. And then I gotta tape it all together. And it's like Fernando's in there soldering these things. It was a 2-hour install. It's like there's no way. There's no way it's like, and Fernando's like, I go, we're not in the business of doing favors and helping. It's like, would I do it on a Sunday? If we're all getting together to build a house on the weekend, sure.
Yeah.
I'll bring my tools, I'll hammer some nails, I'll do whatever it takes. But if I've given my time to do this. Like when we built Todd Ramsey's car, that was my expense. We flew out there, we paid our way, and it was great, and it was rewarding, and we didn't sleep for a whole weekend. Built this car. Everyone that was there did a fantastic job. We knew what we were there to do. We all volunteered our time. We all had a great time. It was fantastic, and that's fine. But when I'm trying to keep the lights on,
yeah,
this is a bad idea. And is it going to get us anything? I mean, maybe God points.
Yeah.
If you need those, which is cool. I mean, hey, 'tis the season,
Right.
we don't want to be Scrooged and, poor guy freezing in the sewer at nighttime because he wouldn't go, wouldn't go in.
Right.
It's like, but you want to.
I think people don't think about what, I'm the type of enthusiast that I would, 4,000 for a Moscone Pro amp. I'm like, yeah, okay, that seems reasonable. So in my mind, a $4,000 amp, I'm thinking an $8,000 system. That's not right. Because what speakers are you gonna put with a $4,000 amp? You're gonna want sound treatment. You're gonna want a maybe a more high quality install than you would have got before. What do you want? You want to make sure you're getting a nice signal to that. So whatever it's gonna take, it's just once you have that base piece of a pretty decently expensive piece, it's just the cost is going to keep rising from there because there's no point of having a Moscone Pro and then running Alpine Type S speakers.
Yeah. Well, and there again, like Melissa said, and he agreed with what you're trying to do recently is a smaller budget. Oh, and that's just it. Like working with a smaller budget. The kicker keys are phenomenal for that. Like,
yeah.
I lean into those heavily. We call it the Haley system, the 5 o'clock, whatever. And there again, it's like we it's like front stage upgrade. Let's do a front stage upgrade. Let's keep this simple. Let's add a sub with a key 500. Let's do really basic things to get the ball moving and try to keep the budget in a logical area for you. I mean, we did a freaking, what is it, G37 or one of those G cars, like last week, I think. And like when the guy came to me and he's like, "This is what I want to do," and it was like, I just looked at him. I go, "Are you serious?" I mean, look, don't take this the wrong way, but I mean, what you're asking is so outside of what someone with this car is usually willing to put into it. I mean, I get it. I totally understand. I'm not going to show you the most expensive speakers I have, even though I know, you're hinting there, because it's not it's going to be insulting.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, I get it. You want this to work better. Let's put together something that might make some sense. And it was one of those stories where it's like, normally he would never do this, but like his brother is blind, and when he was, it's like he bought systems, and so now his son and his uncle, and I'm like, what the fuck, And it was like, and they come in with this laundry list of shit that they've learned from the internet, and I'm like, that's $10,000 worth of equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to put this into a car that is not worth $10,000. Let's be realistic about this. Let's come up with a plan that makes the most sense. And I was like, this is where having a sales guy is important, because it's like, okay, like you had all these things that you wanted. Let's just trash that. We get it. You want a better front stage. You want some bass. You need a new radio, right? Is that where we're at? It's like, yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's figure out what that's going to cost. And let's take the knowns versus the unknowns. Let's take what we know we have to have. So it's like, we have to have a radio. They make 2 dash kits for your car. One's $800, one's $400. Okay, the $400 one, you got to go with this Pioneer radio. Boom. Those are knowns. Like, those are not variables. These are fixed items. This is what this is going to cost. Okay, we can look at that number, and there it is. All right. There's no negotiation. There's not a cheaper one. These are knowns. This is done. We're done with that. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, let's look at speakers. What are we trying to do? How old is the kid? Okay. Well, we're not going to put $750 speakers in there, because that's just dumb.
Right.
But let's look at something that is a little bit, gets them the dynamics that they want. And, and it's like, you have to become like this shepherd. and it's like you're trying to be on their side, and it's but at the end of the day, you realize you also have to make money too. So, it's like, okay, and that's why I hate being a salesman. But and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Like, like we were talking about in the guy that came in had a Miata, and he's all talking about money and shit. I'm like, why are we talking about money? We never talk about money. We're just let's figure out what you want. And he's like, well, it's gonna be money. Yeah. And it just totally set me off. And I was like, all right, well, if we're going to talk about money, you're looking at thousands and not hundreds. So
right.
Are we still talking about money?
Yeah.
And he was just like, what? Thousands? I don't want to spend thousands. I said, all right, well, then you don't want to fix your problem.
And I thought that was funny too, because I remember even back in the 90s, just to get a basic system was going to cost you like $1,500. This in the 90s, and that's not nothing crazy.
No,
but that's just like a very basic. You might get a deck and 4 and a small sub and amp, and that would be $1,500. I mean, that was kind of the minimum I remember. But yeah, I guess it's like people. And the truth of it is, like, the kicker key upgrade for the majority of people is probably going to be good enough. Besides the people that are really willing to spend the extra money to get that extra bit, and they'll pretty much know if they're that person, or you'll know if they're that person.
Yeah, the Epic line is pretty affordable. And there again, even okay, so there's an Epic 4000. Okay,
I've seen that,
which we have.
You've done he done a video on that one, right?
No, we had the guys on to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
If you know, I mean, here it is. Ooh,
yeah.
So 4,000 watt amp. Okay, so there again, affordable amplifier, 4,000 watts. What are you going to put it in? What are you going to power it with? What are you going to put on it? I mean, it's great. It's great that it's an affordable amp, but you're going to need dual 0 gauge. Guess what? you're going to spend more on the power wire than you did on the amplifier.
Yeah. Well, plus, like, what's a high output alternator cost? $600-700.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's be real. There's no one putting a high output alternator. They're going to buy a battery and they're going to plug it into the wall. I mean, you could still do that. But what's a battery cost? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
A battery underneath the hood of your car is fucking, oh my God.
Oh yeah,
like
especially like
to $400.
If you get an excess power, the 2600, that's like $500.
Yeah,
$500, and that's an AGM. If you want a lithium, well, you're looking at like 700 at the lowest, probably somewhere closer to $1,000.
Right. It's so here's what happens. Here's exactly
and it might
what
burn
happens.
your car down.
The guy, yeah, Steve Mead did make that's right. Steve Mead made the video on it last week. We were watching it before we went live. So you as a consumer, you see that, and you were thinking, I'll buy a 1500 watt amp, and then you go, I'm gonna buy a 2000 watt amp. Next thing you know, you got a 4000 watt amp, because why not, right? It's in your budget.
Yeah.
But you don't even understand what your budget is. Your budget is like, oh, I'm gonna buy this 4000 watt amp for my subs. I'm gonna get 2 super woofers. I'm gonna go buy some I don't know, pick any one of the giant 12 by 12 inch woofers out there. And then you're going to go buy the Epic Biggie or Epic Big or whatever the hell it's called. Which I can't wait to get one, because ours is coming. We thought we had it, but apparently we don't. You're going to buy one of those, maybe 2 of those.
Yeah.
And you're going to buy a shit ton of mids and speakers, mids and tweets, or a decent amount. Maybe some 8s for the doors, some horns for the top of the dash where your 3-inch goes. Do the same in the rear. So you're going to cut out your 6x9 holes and slam an 8 in there. So you got a Biggie, you got a 4000, you got 2 super woofers, and then you went and bought whatever the cheapest Pioneer is, because you just need it. You just need it to play sound.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be the greatest. And it's like, okay, so you spent maybe $1,500 on equipment, and now it's going to cost you $3,000 to put it in.
Yeah,
and you're not going to be happy, and you're going to be like, what do you mean? It's like, why is it going to be 3,000 to put in? Well, okay, so you need 2 0 gauges for the amplifier. You need a 4 gauge for that amplifier. You're going to need batteries. You're going to need distribution. You're going to need RCAs. You're going to need brackets. You're going to have to make custom brackets. You're going to need all the wiring for that. And then battery, labor. Labor is always a kick in the balls. Okay, so there you go. It's like, as opposed to if you would have just bought the 1000 watt amp like you originally wanted, 2 normal 12s, the normal 4-channel amplifier, not necessarily the 8-inch louds. Maybe get the 6x9s that are supposed to be there, the 3.5s in the top of the dash, and don't buy the cheapest radio in the world. You would have spent the same, less money, and it would cost you less to install it, and you'd be happy, and the shit would play all day.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Here, let me give you an example. I have a buddy I grew up with, really good guy. He's always done his own installs in his radios, right? In his radios, his speakers, and all this. A lot of times, I'll upgrade, and he'll be like, "Hey, I want to buy what you had." Okay, cool. I'll set to him cheap, and get the next thing. He would always be like, "It never sounds as good in my system when I put it in." And I'd sit down like, listen, you're not planning your system out. You're like, oh, this is cheap, I'll put it in. I was like, so you didn't think about, oh, what speakers am I using? Do I have a DSP? Does my head unit kind of control some of that? Can I get away with just that? You're not amplifying your speakers, which is to me the most important part. I would rather have amplified front speakers than a sub. If I had to choose one or the other, even though the sub makes the biggest difference to me, the most important part to me is the actual music part.
Right.
But everyone's different. A lot of people, I would say the most important part would probably be the sub. It'd be the biggest upgrade.
Not as much anymore.
Is that? Yeah, I don't know how the current is, but
they want bass, but they're not like. Some guys are. It's still, I mean, right. some guys, but most people are just like, and everyone always says the same thing. It's so funny. I hear it almost every day. It's not like I'm trying to compete or something. I'm like,
yeah,
compete in what?
It's like when someone says, like when they're going to gym, like, hey, listen, I don't want to get ripped, man. Brother, you're not going to get ripped.
Yeah.
don't worry.
But I'm sitting there in my head every time somebody says that, I go, is there a channel? Like, does ESPN4 play all the SPL sound offs? I mean, is this like a thing that people like? Where are these people competing? And I said that to one guy the other day. I was like, where are these people competing that you're not wanting to be part of? I mean, do you have like a random SPL group in your neighborhood that you just don't want to participate in? I mean, I haven't been to base off in 2 years, and like I had to drive to Alabama.
Yeah,
So what basic F-150 club are you part of that everyone's dropping dropping hertz everywhere?
That like there's it seems, and sometimes when you're in the echo chamber, it seems like, oh, there's a bass show every weekend during the summer, but that's literally because I have a Facebook list full of friends that are into that, and it's like, oh, so they're posting, Huntsville, Alabama, Hickory, North Carolina, the Sundown Show. They have some in Texas, but if you're just a normal person, you probably have no idea,
right,
where that's.
I just think it's funny when people say that. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Feeling a lot better about, I'm about 90%. I'm almost all the way there.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest complaint, like in there again, he was like the guy that, you guys are just trying to rip people off, and it's like, I'm not trying to rip anybody off. Like I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You come to me. My job is you tell me what you want in so many words, and I try to figure out how to translate that into equipment in our store. That's it. And if we get it right, which thankfully we do most of the time, everybody's happy. And it's when you go outside of that I can no longer guarantee that I am no longer interested in this conversation.
Yeah, someone's always unhappy. If it's not you,
right?
If it's not them, it's you.
Right. And it's always my fault. And it's like I had a guy that came in, got a quote, and told him what we were going to do, and we finalized it all up, and then he goes and buys it all off Crutchfield, and he buys the wrong stuff. And he comes back in, and he's like, hey, I got this stuff. And I go, what's all this? He goes, well, Crutchfield has a really good deal. And I said, okay, cool. There again, what's all this? Well, I figured I'd change it. I go, so who's putting it in? Well, you guys. I said, no, we're not. It's like, well, why not? I said, because this is all the wrong stuff. You came to me with a set plan. You had an idea of what you wanted. I recommended the proper equipment in order to achieve said goal. You've decided to change it and go with this stuff. This stuff doesn't work the way the stuff I was trying to sell you is. So if you want it to sound as expected, stick with the plan. Send this shit back because it's wrong. It's like, oh, but I got such a good deal on it. Okay, great. So your good deal means that you're not going to end up with what you want because you got a good deal.
Well,
and then you kind of look at you like, wait, what? And you're like,
yeah, it's like if what you're here for a reason, because obviously you either can't do it or you don't want to do it. You don't have the skill, or you do have the skill and you don't want to do it, so you're willing to pay for it. The same thing to me, like when I take my car to a mechanic, my truck recently, the Trooper, I had to get some studs were stripped on there.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, how much does it cost for you guys to replace it? They're like $400. Like, you know what? Throw the tire back on. Like, I'm not arguing with them. I know that's more than I'm willing to pay because I can just take a sledgehammer and do it at home.
Right.
And it's like, hey, just throw the tire back on. I'll take it home. I'll do them. Appreciate you guys. Why am I going to argue with them? I'm there to them. Right. They pointed out the problem. I know I can fix it.
Right.
So if now if it's something more advanced, I don't have a choice. Like it's something computer related. I can't do that. And especially on a newer car. Now I maybe could take it to another mechanic or something like that. But I'm not gonna argue with them about their price. Their price is their
people
price.
Love doing that shit, man. It's so weird.
I hate. I would like when I'm buying a car. If I don't think the price is fair listed, I don't even look at it.
Right.
And like when I bought the Jeep, I was like, listen, this is what you guys had it listed for. Now you're saying you don't have that one. This is the price I'm willing to pay for it. I'm willing to pay at that time. I think it was $36,000. Right. I will pay $36,000 if you can make it happen, let me know. We're going to lunch. Here's my phone number. We drove all the way to Oklahoma City. I felt like you guys already wasted my time, so this is the price I'm willing to pay. And they ended up making it happen. So I took the deal. But yeah, it's like I'm not gonna argue. Why am I arguing?
People love it, man. People love it because there's their reality of what they think something like everyone has a perceived value on what they're willing to spend on something. Right. Everybody does. Everyone, and they're again going back to the guy with the Miata that got all pissed at me. You know, he had been shopping around, meaning he'd been on Amazon, and he found some speakers and he found a radio, and he knows nothing. He knows absolutely nothing. And he's like, so he has a perceived value of what this is going to cost. So he's found an inexpensive radio that he can buy for, $200, and there's $70 set of speakers that he can put in there. And it's like, dude, you have a Bose system in your Miata. Okay. It has an 8 and a tweeter in the door and an amp behind the seat. All right. What world, like, why are you even here to fix it if you think that $600 worth of shit is going to make it work again? Yeah. Like, you paid to own that car with that system. Go look at what the sticker was on it, okay? And then you're telling me that I can do it for less money? Oh, sure. I can most definitely do it for less money. But you're going to be back in here pissed off at me because it sounds like shit now. Yeah. And you try to tell them that, and they're like, well, I mean, no, it will sound like shit. I'm not that interested in taking your $600. Right, so that it'll sound like shit, because you're gonna make my fucking life miserable for nothing.
For nothing, yeah.
It's like Yeah,
you can see the problem coming from a mile away, and it's like, listen, man, this just is not the shop for you. The most frustrating part of the whole thing, and he may not know this because he may not watch YouTube, is for somebody that has the inclination to do it themselves. You guys provide information for everybody. Every single 4 video, 3 live streams and 2 videos a week. So like 5 videos a week, basically, something like that.
If he's not into it, he's not into it. I mean, there again, this is a guy. He just wants a deal, and he wants his shit fixed, and he has this price in his mind. It happens. It's totally that way.
It's like, because anytime. And I do this all the time. I do this with everything on YouTube. Any project I'm working on, I look in YouTube and I want to see kind of what the process looks like before I even start. So I have an idea. Specifically, if it's car audio related, my first search is whatever it is, 5-star car stereo. And I'm telling you, probably, even though you guys don't always have them tagged, about 70% of the time, you have something on it.
Oh no, and Melissa, trust me.
Oh yeah,
we know this. Yeah. I mean, I know this. There's still a ton of shops that are just idiotic. They look like a flea market and want to charge $150 an hour, and it really hurts the shop. Good shops, 100%. I mean, but it's like that everywhere. I mean, every industry has that. Like here, there's a million air conditioning guys, and it's like, pick one, and you hope you find the right one, and it's like. But the thing is even when you do find the right one, there's always somebody over there. It's like people, if they don't understand the value in what you're providing for them, they're gonna look elsewhere always. And I hear it every time when a retailer says, I'm trying to provide value. I'm trying to show them value. And it's like 100%. It's like, yes, but how do you do that? How do you? It's like. What are we going to do for you? We're going to do like I had a guy wanted a dash cam. Fucking dash cams. And he waited 3 weeks. I was like, you waited 3 weeks to get his appointment. Okay. Mm-hmm. So finally he comes in, and Paul said it was going to take a couple hours. And I said, it's probably going to take 3 to 4 hours. He said a couple. I said, so we're going to argue over the difference between a couple and a few?
Yeah.
I mean, are those even like real things? And he goes, well, I don't have the time. I said, how long did you wait for your appointment? He says, 3 weeks. I said, you have the time. You have the time for us to work on your car and do the job properly, because I like your car more than I like you. And I stole that line from the Discovery Channel show where the guy says that in the intro. Yeah. And the guy just looked at me, and I was like, it's the truth, dude. I don't like you. I like your car. And I'm going to do a really good job on your car. You could step out in traffic. I really don't give a shit. Because you're just a pain in my ass right now. And I'm like, dude, we are wasting time debating on how long this is going to take. Go sit down. We'll get it done as fast as we can, doing the proper job. You waited 3 weeks. Another 15, 30 minutes isn't going to kill you. Like, where do you, I'm looking at it, go, dude, you're retired. Where do you got to go? Where do you got to go? Like, is there no fucking phone? You got a phone in your hand. This is the only car I have. Well, fucking call an Uber. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. You waited 3 fucking weeks. Just get out of my way.
It's like I've learned over the years. So I have a couple mechanic shops that I trust here. They're not the cheapest, but they do the job right every time.
Right.
And they do it at a fair price, in my opinion. So they're often, like you said, they're booked up. Like, you can't always get in there. But if I need something done, I will wait. And one of these 2 shops, I'll try to squeeze it in there because I know that they do good work.
Right.
They charge a fair price. And if there's any problems,
they'll take care of you.
They'll take care of me. So,
oh yeah, and trust me, that's the most important thing. And it's like, I'll have Paul come over to me, and he'll have somebody on the phone, and they'll be like, "Hey, because he thinks I can fix a problem over the phone." And I'll be like, "Is the phone on pause?" He'll be like, "Yeah." And I say, "Dude, the fuck is wrong with you? Hey, make them appointment, get them the fuck in here, and let's figure out what the fucking problem is. I can't fix this over the phone. Okay, it might be all I have to do is walk out there and go boop."
Yeah.
But all they want is for us to say, "Yeah, we'll get you in and take a look at that." That's it. That's the only fucking. I mean, dude, it's just been a really fucked up week. We had to put a radio in a Hyundai. Paul gives me the wrong harness. So I end up repinning it to the right harness and put it in the car, backup camera. So backup, everything's working, no big deal. Give it out to them, take it home. Backup camera stops working the next day, and they come in. And they're like, backup camera doesn't work. I'm like, holy shit. And so Fernando's out there, and Fernando goes out there and he puts it in reverse. Camera comes on for a split second, goes black. And I go, and so he comes in, and he's like, hey, he goes, the camera's not working. I said, not working? Like, 0. He goes, okay, well, it came on for a second. I said, okay, there again, troubleshooting as it is. The camera is on anytime the car is on because it's a 6-volt camera. It stays on all the time. So you can press the little camera view button, you see the camera. So if it is not powered off of reverse, so something is wrong. And it has nothing to do with the radio or anything like that. There's something wrong with the camera. I said, did you make him an appointment? He says, yeah. He's like, you can come in Monday at 5. And I go, did you make him a different appointment? He says, yeah.
He's like, right when we do the show, 30 minutes before you do the show or something.
No. So actually, Melissa, you'll love this. This is even dumber than that. So we get the car in, pull the bezel off, get the car in, and we had to use a Pack Volt 3.9. Now, for those of you that are going, I don't know what that is. It's a little box, has 4 wires on it, and it's a switch on the side. It'll do 3.3 volts, 5 volts, 6 volt, and 9 volt. And each one of those means something to us. Okay, and so this is a really helpful thing to have because we can put it into a system, and we can a lot of the times lose a power block, power back up a factory camera, hook up a Ford amplifier because their remote turn-ons are 5 volts, power a Sirius XM module. There's a ton of shit you can do with this thing. Perfect storm. Okay, perfect fucking storm. So the first one of these I put in, I didn't use theirs. I used Metra's version of it, and it was 5 volts. 5 volts is not enough to turn on this camera, so I needed a 6 volt. So I put the Volt 3.9 in it. Camera works great. Put it into the car. Somehow, this little thing it's fucking this big. It's like an inch by a half inch by a quarter inch thick. That's how big this thing is. The 4 wires are bigger than the unit, and this little fucking switch on it. This little fucking switch that is got a circuit board on the back of it, so it's not like it's just floating. Like, woo, look at me, I'm a switch.
Yeah.
No. And it's like an 1/8 of an inch by 1/16 of an inch by 16. That's how small. Like, you literally got to take a screwdriver and go click. Okay. The fucking thing moved back to 5 volts somehow. I've never had that happen. I was like, what in the fuck?
Did you put a little super glue on it?
Oh, I told Fernando to glue the fuck out of that. Yeah. Glue the fuck out of that.
You got to, man. You got.
Oh, I went over to the lady and I said, listen, I'm real sorry. I said, this is how stupid this is.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, that's cool. So everything works? Yeah, everything works. It's just, sorry for the inconvenience. Like, we use this piece and it's fucking stupid, apparently.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, for OEM cameras. Yeah. And I'm just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And there again, we've installed literally hundreds of these over the years. Never had this one thing happen. But I can tell you, guess what? The next one we install, fucker's going to be glued in place.
Yeah.
And it'll be glued in place from now to the end of time, because I will never have that service ever again.
Well, this the thing with which I don't think people think about all the time. You're literally a professional at this, right?
Yes.
So instead of, me or somebody that watches that may install, you may install 20 systems your whole life. You've done that in a month.
Correct.
Easy, right?
I don't even remember what I've installed.
Right.
I'll go through my phone and see pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I don't even remember doing this.
But
it's like going on like a
you remember when shit like this happens.
Oh yeah.
This won't happen again because it happened once. I'm never going to let it happen again.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, that's just, I mean, because you're literally professional. Unlike some of the bad shops that keep making the same mistakes. In every business, there's places like that. But when you have a true professional,
it's live and learn, right? It's live and learn.
Yeah.
The difference. Listen, the thing is there's that conversation that we always have. The difference between a professional and an amateur, right? Because there's a difference. It has nothing to do with the quality of work that you do. Because there are there's tons of amateurs and whatever they're amateurs in that are fan-fucking-tastic. They're amazing, but they will always be amateurs because there's one step that they have not taken, and that is to lose the safety net and make it a fucking career. Okay? And when you make something a career, it opens a whole new Pandora's box of shit, because it's not like, I'm a programmer Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I build car stereo. And I, it takes me 6 months to do this, and it's fucking gorgeous. And you just look at it and go, God damn, man, that's fucking amazing. How long did you spend on that? 6 months. Oh, that's why it looks gorgeous. Cause like we would have had to get that done in like 4 days.
Right. Just like it took me a whole weekend just to dynomat the doors on the Hyundai.
Yeah.
Literally a whole Saturday and a whole Sunday. I spent 1 day on each door.
Well, amateurs can get paid. Amateurs can get paid. But what it really comes down to is time and money is the difference between an amateur and a professional. And that's not saying amateurs don't make money. I was an amateur photographer for years, and I made money, and I made bullshit money. I didn't make professional money. Professionals make way more money because there's way more involved when you're a professional. Now, there are professionals out there that suck, and that screws up the whole thing, because anytime you're having a conversation, remember, there's the middle, which is where we try to stay most of the time, meaning it's neither the greatest nor the worst. It's just normal. And then, because there's always that, like, this is the world we live in now, where you say something like this and they go, oh, there's guys that suck and they're professionals. And it's like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
Duh. Just like there's the opposite. There's guys that are professionals that are amazing, so good it hurts. There has to be the yang to that, which is so bad it hurts.
Right.
And then most of us just live in the middle, where it's like we do the job we're supposed to do and we do it to the best of our abilities, which is probably a little bit to the side of
people
like
experience that in life. They're a professional at whatever they're doing. They experience non-professionals or people that are professionals, and I've been called in to help other people, and I see their work and I'm like, dude, like what? Like, how did, like, I don't even know how you thought that this was right. Like, this is like so far. What it is, and I'm sure maybe it's like this in Carcero. When they call me out, it's like, I can't trust anything you've done here. So I have to start from the beginning.
Yes. Well, that's
everything you've done, I have to get rid of it, and I have to start from the beginning and do it myself to see what has went wrong.
I was just getting ready to say that's 911. He beat me to
that's exactly what it is. It's like I don't trust anything that's here now. I have to start from the beginning.
For every parent out there, you'll understand where I'm going with this analogy. All right, so everyone's a parent, right?
Yeah.
And so I went to art school. I think most people know that. I was going to be an architect, so I went to art school, and that was my thing. I was an artist. I wanted to do this, and then I woke up and was like, this fucking sucks. So when Haley was young, we would have these assignments from school. We all remember those, and there was always art, and you had to draw something. Okay. And this one time, she's like, I want to draw a giraffe. I said, no problem. We'll draw a giraffe. So, I found a picture of a giraffe. I drew it so she would see a line version of the giraffe. Okay. And then she drew it. Now, we've all seen those pictures where it's like the kid version of a horse, and it's like the most fucked up looking on the horse. So as parents, we've all seen our kids like, and like they're looking at your picture, like with both fucking eyes, intently staring at your picture. And whatever they're doing over here is just a hot mess.
Yeah.
And you're going, what are you looking at? Like, does your picture look like this? No, it doesn't look anything like that picture. And the kids can never go, I cannot do that. They never say that. They always just go, I'm doing the best I can, or that's too hard. It's like they don't know enough to go, I can't do that. That is way too advanced for whatever this is we're doing. Can you draw the stick figure version of that? I can do that. But they can't talk like that. And I feel society as a whole, that's basically it. You look at something and you go, wow, it's fucking beautiful. I'm gonna do my version of that. And it's like you look at like this amazing mural on the wall that's just like layered, and then you look at what they did, and they made a white stucco wall. And you're going, and they're just like so proud of it, like, look what I did, this is fucking great. And you're like,
yeah,
you did a wonderful job. Were you going for the white stucco look? No, I made this.
Yeah, you did the best you could.
Okay, I don't see it.
Yeah.
But good. Yeah, man. Fucking hey. You should stick with white stucco. You're actually pretty good at that.
Well, the funny thing is, the funny, and this is a funny example talking about kids, is because Kyle literally does the job I started doing when I started at the plant. So he was asking me about a problem with his machine and his spray up. And I was like, Kyle, I was like, this is no offense to you, but the only way I can see is if I do this myself. Like, for the time you've been doing this job, you're pretty good at this job.
Right.
But I can't, just like anybody else that's out here, like, I can't trust what you're saying because I didn't see you do it. And I don't know how it's layered on there. So I need to do it myself to see.
Oh, no. And trust me, Fernando and I, we have the same problem because, we ran into today. I said, he'll say yes. And I'll be like, okay. And then I'll move forward. And then he'll be like, what are you doing? I'll be like, you said yes. You answered the question yes. Well, no, it's not like that. I said, real simple words. Is this that? And you said yes.
Yeah.
That means I walk away. You meant to say no.
Right.
But it's like, it's two fucking words. Pick one. And when you tell me yes, I just walk away. And when you tell me no, but it's like, they're not interchangeable. They're not interchangeable.
This is my life with Cassie every day.
Yeah.
Everybody. I thought you understood what I was saying. So now I just check, like, okay, are we on the same page? Like, this is what I'm saying to you.
Right.
You're saying yes. That means that you have agreed to this, this, and this. That way, because it's like, geez, if you say yes, I assume we're on the same page.
Well, no, and there again, that was always the thing. I think the problem with bad install tops, I would say I can't do that. They'll just throw something together and hope. Oh no, look, they need the money. Yeah. It's money. At the end of the day, it's money. You walked in, they're going to take your money. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
and they're never going away, and they'll always be there, and they'll always do that shit for sure. I mean, that's just it's the name of the game, baby. Give me money.
Well, this is true.
And there again, to that regard, there's certain things we don't do, okay? Because for one, either we don't have the room, we don't have the know-how, we don't have any place to put it. I'm gonna have to walk a mile away to do it. So we have this guy that wants to bring in an RV, a full-size fucking bus RV.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul's asking me all these questions. I'm like, let's find out, because in my mind, I'm going, so it's like a van or a pickup truck front end.
Yeah.
Okay. because I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, he's showing me a picture. He goes, this is what it is. Like, I don't know what that's in. I'm not. And he's like, it's an RV. I was like, you do understand that stands for recreational vehicle. It is not a brand.
Right. Is it like a class 3, a class 1?
Yeah. It turns out it's a fucking bus.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and so I said, do me a favor, because he's like, call and talk to him. I said, I'm not going to call and talk to him. I have work to do. You're sitting here pulling boogers out of your nose. So ask him what it's built on. Maybe get the model that we can look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does this, and he goes to me today, and he's like, oh, I talked to the RV guy. I said, okay, cool. What do you got? And I said, is it Ford, Chevy? And he tells me this. I go, I've never even heard of that. What you're speaking? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, are you speaking Punjabi? What the fuck is going on? So he goes, well, I looked it up. I said, so you've already seen a picture of it? He goes, yeah. So he shows me a picture. And I see this fucking bus. And I go, so did you call him back and say, we're not going to do it? He goes, no. I said, Paul, 10 years. 10 years we've been here. Maybe longer. Probably longer. I said, how many RVs have we done? I can think of 2 that we've done. One, and both of them were like Ford front ends or the fucking the stupid van
like
from Mercedes, Sprinter things, you know, simple radio swaps, nothing like, you know, fucking Sprinters, Ford, Chevy, you know, just I said, where are we going to put this thing? Where is it going to? Well, we can park it. I said, we can't park it there. There's cars in our parking lot. Our parking lot is 99% of the time full, so it can't go there. Where are we going to put this? I said, we can park it all the way at the end of the plaza. Okay, so let's say we park it all the way at the end of the plaza. How many of these have you worked on? I don't. We don't ever work on these. Like, it's not our thing, you know. So, what are we gonna do? I mean, it's not what we do. We've never done this. I don't need to get a new career path at 50 some years old just to put a shitty radio and 4 speakers in it. It could be the easiest thing in the world to do, and it probably is. But it's not what we do. So why would we want to do it? You know, and he's just kind of, I'm like, you're the one that always tells people no. So why do I have to be the bad guy here? Like, you know the answer to this question, you know? So it's kind of weird. Yes, he's Indian, so he speaks Punjabi.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what he's saying. So it's like, and there again, it's fine. It's like, and I looked at him. I said, "Look, if it's something you want to do, just know this isn't what we do. You always turn people away when they show up with these. It's always the same thing. Like, we won't do semis, we won't do boats, we won't do RVs. These are the things that you tell me we are not going to do. Why are we having this conversation? This is one of those things where my brain is flipping fucking somersaults in my head, going,
it was a new day.
This shouldn't make it to my desk.
Yeah."
Like, I got a million other fucking things that I'm dealing with right now. This doesn't need to be on my desk. You're not doing your job.
Yeah.
You know, if you want me to do this, fine. I don't care. But understand, this is not what you have defined that we do. And you are the owner. So are we changing the rules now?
Hey, you know, licks fingers, the air, wind change.
Yeah. Well, and it was one of those things where I was like, do you know anything about them? I don't know anything about them. I know Kenwood makes an RV radio that we probably can't buy. So that sucks. I said, you know, like, what the fuck? Like, we never do these things. So why would we start doing them?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I told you years ago, if you want to do all these things, let's get a fucking building with a door. We can pull these things in. We'll do them all day long. We'll figure it out. That's what we do. Oh, no. I love doing semis. I mean, if you got the room, like, we legit, everyone has seen our place. We do not have the room to put these things in our place. Like, if we park a normal car out back with the amount of trucks that drive behind us, I mean, I have to open and close the fucking door facing the road all the time. You know, it's like, it's amazing one of our cars has not been fucking clipped. You know, plus it's Florida and it's either too fucking hot or too fucking cold. I don't know how you guys live in the snow. That's fine. For us, it's the same thing. You got to remember, your 13 negative is our, you know, like 40. We're fucking useless. That's when the owners disassemble the whole thing for you. Yeah. I did one semi, and the guy lived in the semi, and I think this seat was actually part of his body. It was so disgusting. It was so gross. Guy weighed like 300 pounds.
Oof. That's tough.
Oh, it was gross. Yeah. Anyways. That's the show.
That's the show. This is our last show of the year.
That was a terrible way to end the year, by the way.
But
like the most unhappy show.
Listen, you never know what you get. You roll the dice, and sometimes they come up snake eyes. But yeah, you guys, we won't see you until the second week of January. Yeah. So have fun, enjoy your family, or enjoy your Christmas. Everybody knows the day after Christmas is very depressing, and who cares about the New Year's? But
it is.
Yeah, man. I hate as soon as Christmas is over, I'm like bummed out.
Yeah, I get bummed out and depressed.
Yeah,
two different things.
Listen, I told you, strong opinions, man. Strong opinions. That's how we get the views.
No, yeah, exactly. No, listen, and it's funny too because I'll always be like January 15th. I'll go 20 days ago, we were celebrating Christmas.
Yeah,
and Fernando just look at me and I'll be like, I'm just saying, 20 days ago, my house was decked the halls. Now it's back to normal.
Now it's like hell. It's hell.
Like when you're 20 days on the other side of that, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
We're 20 days negative now, and it's like, I gotta do my taxes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It sucks.
But you got one last chance to see us. We did a little show called Side Jag. We're gonna talk about Diddy.
Yes, we are.
I switched to Apple Music. So we got some stuff to talk about there. So
we're gonna talk about Diddy. That's for fun.
We're gonna talk about Diddy. Everyone's talking about Diddy.
And yes, he Diddy.
he Diddy the Diddler has done some things. So we'll see y'all next year. Unless you want to join the show, click the link. And other than that,
see ya.
See ya.